Your Denver Broncos not only are going to be a problem, they have a pretty tricky problem, one that we haven't had since our Super Bowl run almost a decade ago. If you're new to the channel, I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan named Ben. Helps me in the YouTube algorithm out a ton if you like the Broncos, if you would like and subscribe. And truly, the problem is we are just too deep. We were a playoff team last year, and then we went out and absolutely dominated free agency, and PFF backs us up on that. We had a wildly great draft, which we're going to talk about here in a second, and it is just impossible to go through our roster and get it down to 53 men without cutting guys that you know are going to make us regret it. Like last year, how much would we have loved to still have Tim Patrick on the team after Devon Vele broke his rib? Or how much would we have loved to have Samaje Perine on the team after Tyler Bidet broke his back in that Jets game? How much would we have loved to have Tim Patrick on the team after Josh Reynolds broke his hand? We are going to cut some guys on this roster who are going to make us really, really regret it. And that is a problem that all contenders like we have. There are a couple nice things that we have. One of the nice things that we have going into this year is that our punter, who's got a absolute rocket for a leg, and our special teams coordinator Rizzi said he's actually the most talented, high ceiling special teams player he's ever worked with, which is high praise from one of the best special teams coordinators in the game. And he is Australian, and because of that, he doesn't count against our 53, so we actually get to have 54, so that's like a sneaky good thing. But something is kind of actually like worse than when I did this video last time. So first off, we went out and got J.K. Dobbins, which I'm thrilled about, but that means that running back room that I was happy with the 4 we had, that means one of the guys I liked is on his way out, or we're carrying 5 running backs, which we just absolutely cannot. And then the other problem is I was expecting the Broncos to only carry 2 quarterbacks. I don't care what anybody says. I don't think you need 3 people in that room, but Sire Bettinger wrote an incredible piece on Predominantly Orange. Sire's not only incredible on Locked On Broncos, he also is like a fantastic writer too, and doesn't just have ChatGPT do the work for him, so go read his stuff. He writes an incredible piece about how Sam Elingher is actually turning heads all over the place. First off, you have like Bo Nix's wife, Izzy Smoke, put out the Instagram post that they're hanging out in the offseason. So you see Zach Wilson leave. He headed over to Miami Dolphins, and it's like Sam Ellinger and his wife just filled right into that void, and they're like best friends. We know that quarterback room was so tightly knit, and that Bo Nix credits a lot of his progression last year to having a quarterback room where he had Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson building him up, helping him look at things analytically and like game prep. Now, that's all and well and good. I want Bo Nix to love being a Denver Bronco and have a room that he's happy with. But if it means that you're like cutting somebody that I actually love on this team, it's like, man, Bo Nix, could you find another friend on the team who's not in the quarterback room so that we only have to carry 2 quarterbacks? I think the chances of us getting down to playing a third quarterback in a game are so slim. And at that point, if both Stidham and Bo Nix get hurt, it's like, man, let Cortland Sutton play quarterback, or you know what? Let RJ Harvey play quarterback, because he did that in college. So I would love to see the Broncos, like Sam Ellinger seems like an incredible dude. He actually is he's given credit because J.K. Dobbins actually said, hey, another guy who recruited me to Denver was Sam Ellinger. So that just becomes very, very problematic. Man, if we carry 3 quarterbacks and now we have J.K. Dobbins, you were talking about multiple cuts on that defensive line or that outside linebacker group or like a Drew Sanders, and that would be very, very painful. So let me know in the comments how you're feeling. How many quarterbacks do you think the Broncos should be carrying into next year's roster? And do you think it's more important to like have a cool, tight-knit room there where you got a bunch of best friends, or would it be better to have like a deeper roster and have some hedges against injuries by not carrying 3 quarterbacks? Now, there's also, because of how crowded we are, you are having a lot of folks talk about like, hey, we're actually so deep at a lot of positions that you could start to load up and get draft assets. You could get players, you could get compensation, help with the salary cap by trading away some players where we're very, very deep. And so another article on Predominantly Orange talks about 3 candidates who they think that we're already extremely deep at, and they're at a place in their contract where it would behoove the Broncos to move on from them now. So I'm curious what all y'all think about this. The first one being John Franklin Myers, knowing that he's in a contract year. There are tons of reports coming out of Broncos training camp that he just kept getting into the backfield and like just yelling at whoever could hear him, man, I'm so good. Like, John Franklin Myers is an absolute stud and is unstoppable and unblockable. But if you take a look at our depth there at the defensive line, we are just like have a plethora of depthness there in a way that I could see a world where it would make sense to do that. Like if you look here at, we know what Dondre Tillman did coming on at the end of last year, and then we're hearing Savion Jones is absolutely balling out of control as well. Zach Allen, we got to pay him. And then Uwazurike, the guy who's suspended because of some gambling situations, is also a stud. And so might the Broncos move on from Jonathan Cooper? That would be the one that, or John Franklin Meyer, that would be the one that I think makes the most sense, just because we don't have unlimited money to be paying all over the place. The next name on here is Courtland Sutton. And really the rationale behind getting rid of Courtland Sutton at this point is that you're hearing Devon Vele is the future Courtland Sutton, that he's added a ton of mass coming into this season, that really he's the same type of body type that Courtland Sutton is, and that he's quite a bit younger, not a ton younger, because he took a little break between high school and college and went on a mission trip with LDS Church, and so he ended up playing college way later than most people. Had a 2-year, it started 2 years later. But Courtland Sutton, a trade, if Pat Bryant is balling out of control and is way better than folks thought, I could see that world, but I just saw how close Bo Nix and Courtland Sutton were in the offseason, going to Avs games, going to Nuggets games, seeing Courtland Sutton not being a diva like we're seeing with Scary Terry and the Washington Commanders. He's been showing up even though he doesn't have a deal. He didn't throw as big of a fit as we were expecting him to last year after we traded Russell Wilson, Courtland Sutton and Russell were really close, and he's looking at Jerry Jeudy getting way more money than him. And so I respect Courtland Sutton so much as a person that I don't want to move on from Courtland Sutton. And then the last one, Jonathan Cooper, being the one that they say, you take a look at last year, the Broncos had a plethora of edge rushers, and then they got rid of Baron Browning, just saying, hey, we can't have all of our edge rushers on the field at one time. And yes, there's something to say about having depth there, but there's only so many defensive snaps. And if this defense is as good as we think they are, you're going to have teams going 3 and out way more often. And so you could see the defense on the field a lot less this year. I think the hedge to why you might get rid of Jonathan Cooper is the fact that Jonah Ellis, I don't think any of us are giving Jonah Ellis the credit that he is due. The year that he had last year, when he was injured for most of the year, and his dad revealed that to us then at the end of last season. And on top of that, he is the youngest player in NFL history to have the production that he had at that age. So he had 5 sacks, and he's only 21 years old. So he wasn't one of those 5 years in college type dudes. So you look at the NFL pedigree in his genes, and then thinking, man, if he is fully healthy, and then on top of that, you're just looking at Q Robinson being an absolute game wrecker, and one of the players who's standing out more than any other at OTAs is probably Q Robinson, from everything that I'm reading and all the videos that I'm seeing thrown out there by Broncos beat reporters. And really that he had the 4th highest win rate in all of college football last year when it came to pass rush win rate, that he won on in a staggering 24% of his pass rushes, meaning like, hey, 4 snaps, he's getting back there, one of them, which is almost unheard of. And that one of the reasons he wasn't a first rounder is because he was behind 2 first rounders, and then he was injured when it was finally his turn to be the dude. But he has all of the intangibles there and the tangibles in physical skill, and you just watch highlights of him, and it's hard to not get like wildly hyped about what he could be here. And so, yeah, we are wildly deep at the edge rusher position. And so maybe you say, all right, let's sign Benito. We got Ellis is going to step up. We obviously have Dondre Tillman, and now you throw Q Robinson in there, and watch out. This could be very, very exciting to have. But all of this is kind of going back to that point of, man, if Sam Elingher is on this team, then you probably do have to trade one of those 3 guys that would make this more painful, because how on earth are you going to make these very difficult decisions? So let me know in the comments, how are you feeling about the Broncos, and what are the cuts that you are envisioning that are going to be the hardest to stomach when we get to preseason, which is like, man, we're talking 4 weeks away from Denver Broncos training camp, and I can hardly wait. I hope you have a fantastic Father's Day in Broncos country.
Broncos country, we've got a ton to believe in.
We got a ton to believe in.